So we've learned how to calculate the Sri Lagna. We've learned to find the dasa sequence. Next step is to find out how long the dasa is going to be. Of course, you need to know how long you're going to enjoy the fruits and how long you're not going to enjoy the fruits of Lakshmi. The calculation is very simple. First, figure out whether the sign, the dasa sign, is odd-footed or even-footed. Okay? Everybody pay attention. You're going to have to calculate your dasas before Robert gets on stage. If it's odd-footed, count in regular order from that sign to its lord. Okay? No cheating. There we go. Okay, this is Mikhail's chart. How long will Taurus dasa be?
11 years.
Why?
Because it's in its luck.
First of all, let's do the steps, all the steps, and I'll tell you a few more things after that. Taurus is an odd or even-footed sign. Oh, you see, you made the mistake. I didn't say odd or even sign, I said odd or even-footed sign. So, is Taurus an odd-footed sign or even-footed sign? It's odd-footed. So, we have to count in regular order from Taurus to its lord, right? This is the way to do it. You see, Venus is in this sign itself. And the sign here is Taurus. A certain amount of Taurus is already elapsed, correct? Right? So we're only counting whole signs, including the sign which Venus is in. Bear with me. Those who understand Nine Dasa calculations have learned something. I'm going to teach you the basis now. So, go to the next sign from Taurus, right? And start counting this inclusive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the sign Venus is in, 12. You see that? That's important. Understand that. Why are we doing this? This Taurus, already some part of Taurus has been progressed. So we don't include that sign itself. We want a whole sign, a whole year. Okay?
It's sort of like the percentage of something, and we've got to,
Well-
percentage is left over.
Well, you see, it's already partly in Taurus, this bhava. So we want a whole sign, a whole year. So each of the whole signs which are there is what we must include, including the sign in which the Lord is placed in.
And that's based on, that part is based on the Lord's progress through the sign.
That part which is why we exclude Taurus from the calculation.
In other words, if Venus were 1/3 in.
Let me try another one. See, this is the confusion is that Venus isn't Taurus.
Oh.
Let me try another one. Take Leo. Is Leo odd or even-footed, first of all? Even-footed. So we have to count in reverse from Leo to its lord, the sun. Okay, now we don't count Leo because some part of Leo is already progressed. We have a Lagna somewhere, that means the cusp of Leo itself is also progressed a bit. And we want a whole sign to count. A whole year, a whole sign. So we start our counting from here. We're counting in reverse, remember? So 1, Cancer, 2, Gemini, 3, 4. See that? So we add, so Leo Dasa, according to the calculation so far, will be 4 years. Okay? Okay? Before we get into a few exceptions, let me try again with another one. Take Libra Dasa. Is it odd-footed or even-footed? Odd. So count in regular order from Libra to Venus. What do you get?
7 days.
Ah, is that right? You're right. Does everybody get that?
So you get 8 minus 1 in other words.
You can do the following. See the position there from -1. I'm giving you the basis. Find the whole signs which are progressed. This is Libra. Some of it is already progressed. We want the whole sign. So it becomes Scorpio 1, 2, Sagittarius, 3, 4, 5. What? 1. Oh, it's right here. 7, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay? Now for the exceptions. Everybody's clear on this. Please raise your hands if you're not. Okay, it is quite easy, but I'm giving you the basis. If that planet is exalted, add 1 year.
Except for Mercury.
Sorry?
Except for Mercury, Mercury's burning.
If it's debilitated, deduct 1 year. The maximum amount of years that a sign can get, Ilan, listen. The maximum amount of years that a sign can get is 12 years.
Right.
That's the answer to your question. So in case of Mercury in Virgo, Virgo does not get 13 years. It can maximally get 12. Okay? Right? Yeah? Good. So how long would Leo Dasa be? Who'll do this one? Jim, what do you say?
8 years.
Does everybody say 8 years? Yeah? Leo Dasa, I was asking. Sorry? 5 years. Yes. You have to count reverse. Leo is even-footed. You see that? I knew somebody was going to make that mistake. So let's see what happened. Leo, your next sign. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sun is exalted. 5. Okay? Yes?
Is it possible for a dasha to have 0 years in this dasha?
Not in its first cycle. In case, except for,
Sagittarius dasha?
yes, except for Sagittarius.
So 2 minus 1 would be 2 minus 1, or no, 1 minus
Okay,
1,
okay.
0.
Let's try that one. Assume Jupiter's here in Capricorn, and we want to find the length of Sagittarius Dasa. Okay? So, how do you go about it? First, is Sagittarius odd-footed or even-footed? Odd-footed. So, count in direct order from Sagittarius to Capricorn. What do you get? 1. It's debilitated. Minus 1? 0.
So in the
You
second
can't get 0 years
so
in the
second
first cycle.
it would have 12 years then.
I'll get to that. Sorry?
Do that again. Let's do that again. I missed what you did.
Sure.
Sagittarius.
Let's assume Jupiter's in Capricorn,
Oh,
and we want to find the length of Sagittarius Dasa. It was odd-footed, so we counted in regular order, and we got 1. Now it is also debilitated, so we deduct 1. So it becomes 0 years. Like that. Now you do this for all the 12 dasas in the first cycle. Okay? Now what Alan mentioned was that in the second cycle, the balance of the first cycle is going to come. So let's take Taurus Dasa. How long did it last?
5 years.
Taurus, not Leo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Taurus was 12 years.
Taurus was 12 years. In the second cycle, the balance of that is
0.
why 0?
Because you take 12 from the maximum of 12, you get 0.
Right, we have to deduct 12 from it to find the balance. Or deduct it from 12, that is.
Why would it be 12?
Because the point is, when we do these calculations, the maximum amount of years a dasa can have, or this dasa can have, is 12 times 12. That is each sign getting 12 years each. This is 144 years in total. Now, because some of these dasas are going to be less than 12 years, that means they won't complete this full cycle of 144 years when we add them up in the end. Like Leo did not last for 12 years, it only lasted for 5. Right? Right? Leo only lasted for 5 years. But we have to complete its entire cycle of 12 years. So in the second dasa, second cycle of Leo, we get 12 minus 5. 7 years. That'll be the length of Leo dasa in the second cycle. So if I show you this chart with dasas, do you see that we have 24 dasas here? Basically, they start over again. Here's the first, if you look up here, here's the first dasa of Taurus. How is that the first dasa of Taurus? Wait a minute, you scroll down too far?
It looks like
Oh, my mistake. This is all right. I'll tell you a few things afterwards. Let's take Leo, right? That was for 5 years, correct? 93 to 98, that's 5 years. Let's see the second cycle of Leo. 76 to 83. How many years is that? That's 7 years. You see that? Good. So the second cycle will always be the balance of the first. So that in the end we get 144 years passed. Then the whole dasa is finished. That's it. The end of it. Okay.
I was showing Taurus dashes on 2 years.
Yes. Now in Sudasa, I have to make the entire sequence of dasas. The first dasa has a certain balance to it. Okay? What you do is, the first dasa of Taurus was how long? 12 years? We figured that out from the chart. It's in own sign in Taurus, Venus. Based on the amount of degrees the Sri Lagna has progressed in its sign, that same fraction we remove from that the first dasa of Taurus. Okay? So if the Sri Lagna is at 15 degrees in a sign, that's 50% of Taurus, or 50% of that sign. Then you remove 6 years from the first dasa of Taurus, because Taurus was 12 years in this case. Let's assume Taurus was 6 years, and Sri Lagna had progressed 50% of its sign. Then we took 50% off the first dasa. If it was 6 years, it became 3 years. You want to try it out on this chart?
Now, why are we doing this?
This is to find the balance of the first dasa. Because some of the dasa has already happened, and some is going to happen.
So we're fine-tuning the calculation.
Yes. We're fine-tuning when the exact time when the dasa is going to start. Okay?
But we got 12 years.
We got, let's see what we have. 12 years for the first dasa, right? Correct? Taurus. Hold on.
This is not the amount. Okay.
Now see the Sri Lagna here. 23 degrees Scorpio, 24 minutes. How big a fraction of 30 degrees is that? You want to try figure it out?
3/4 is going to be 70%.
This is the fraction. Okay?
78.
Now let's assume we want to find out how big a fraction this is of 12 years. Taurus dasa was for 12 years. First one here. 12 years. Venus in own sign. So we take 12 and multiply by the fraction. That's how much is already progressed of the dasa. The remainder of the dasa will be 2 years, 0.6, 0.3.
Okay, so 2.5 years. So now.
2.5 years. Look, remember that's 2.5 years, or approximately 2.5 years? Let's see how long the first dasa was here. See that? So the first dasa of Venus will only be for approximately half years.
What's that again?
That's the balance. That'll be the first dasa.
That's 12 years.
It was 12 years, look. But we found the balance, you see that?
Okay, I got you.
Only 2 years here. The first dasa will only be for 2 years
Okay.
because of this.
So,
Yes?
but we're showing 12 years.
We have 12 years, and that is also correct. It is correct.
All right.
But based on the degree of the Sri Lagna, we have to subtract a certain amount.
All right.
And that certain amount, the remainder of that, will be the first dasa. It's like a dasa balance. Remember,
If that were the case, then in 1984, he would be starting the Aquarius dasa.
yes, 83.
Okay.
End of 83, December 83. You see that?
Okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yes. Okay? This is the only exception to the length of the dasa. The only one. Yes? It is only the first dasa you do this with, not the others. Only the first. Yes?
I can see how that works for that one. So you take the 2.5 years in the first dasha, and then you take the remainder, the 9.5 years that are left in the second dasha, right?
Yes. You see here?
All right.
This was 2.5 years approximately. Now, Taurus has to last for 12 years. And it has to make up for that in its second cycle. So in its second cycle, we take 12, deduct from those 2.5, and we'll get about, how much is it? About 9 years. Is that right? 10.5. See that?
But
9.5 actually.
okay, for a sign,
52,
that
52.
hasn't progressed 12 years, you're still going to get 2 relations, right?
2.
Yeah, you're still going to get 2 divisions. Say you
Yes.
work it out so that it's in the first cycle it's 4 years, and in the
Yes.
second cycle it's 8 years. So then for that first cycle, you have to work out the Sri Lagna. How far it's progressed.
You don't talk about the second cycle until you're fully clear about the first cycle. Let's assume the first cycle you found that the first dasa is going to be for 4 years, right? And you find out the Sri Lagna has progressed, say, 25% of the sign. So that means you have to remove
1 year.
25% of the 4 years. You'll get a remainder of 3 years. So that is your remainder. That'll be the first dasa. Based on that, you decide how long the second cycle will be as well.
By minus 12.
Yes. By deducting it from 12, yes. Okay? This is only for the first dasa. Can anybody make out why this is so? We don't do this in Narayan dasa, or do we? Maybe there's some secrets associated with Narayan dasa. Some people say things about the full moon being the start of the dasa, all sorts of things. Okay? You want to try another chart? Just to be clear? And then if you want, we can look at your charts and calculate. And then hopefully Robert will be able to take over for us. And show us how to even use this dasa. Another chart? Whose chart? Who wants the blessings of Lakshmi in their life?
Everybody.
Everybody. Somebody who had their hands down. Okay, I have Phyllis' chart. I think, yeah, that's right. So, instead of doing the actual calculations, I want to see if you have got the process right. because the calculations can be cumbersome if you don't have Excel or so on. So who's going to explain the process for me? From the beginning. Let's see how much you remember and whether you did your guru mantras this morning. Who's going to do it? Will you do it? You can do it? You want to come up here so it gets close to the mic?
Not really. Yeah.
Come on.
Well, first thing is to find how many degrees the moon has progressed in its nakshatra.
Okay.
And then from there, just multiply that.
Okay.
It,
Does that
okay.
work?